Good morning. How are you doing today? Can you hear me okay? Kanina, can you hear me? Hello. Good to see you again. All right. Good. Okay. So today we're going to do a bit more in math and multiplication. So let me get your feedback on how the last session went. So unmute yourself if you can. Chukwabuka. So how did you feel about the last one? I think it was pretty easy.
Yes.
Yeah, it was easy. We're going to do a couple more, a little bit complicated in multiplication, and next week will be more in algebra. So what, do you know what type of math going into when you go back to school? You'll be going to 5th grade, right?
And I'll be going to 6th grade.
5th grade, okay. Yeah, so do you know what kind of things you'll be learning in 6th grade or not sure yet?
I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, so maybe it'll start to be some algebra and things like that. So we'll do that next week, but wanted to make sure everybody's on the same page with multiplication today. So good. Yeah. Both of y'all have your siblings in the background. That's fun. How many brothers and sisters do you have?
2 more.
2 brothers? You have 2 brothers?
I have 3 brothers.
Oh, wow.
We have 4 brothers and we have 4 of us, but only 2 of us are taking this class.
Wow.
Those are the other 2.
Good. Are you the oldest?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Yep. So yeah, you got to show them how to get it done right and focus on your math and your learning. So that's really cool.
My book.
Kanina, how many brothers and sisters do you have?
Little sister.
How many brothers? I can't hear you that well. Can you yeah. There you go. I heard you say you had no sisters. How many brothers did you have though?
3.
Oh, 3. Okay, so you both have 3. Wow. Okay. I have 2 sisters and 1 brother.
2 sisters and 1 brother.
Yes.
So that means there's 3 girls and 1 boy.
Yes. 3 girls. Yep. But for you all, you have 4 boys. Wow.
Only 4 boys.
Wow.
No sisters. Only cousins.
Sisters are cool. Hi,
I have a bunch
Shiloh.
of sisters who are cousins.
Hi.
Good to see you again. How many brothers and sisters do you have, Shiloh?
I don't have any siblings.
Oh, that's fun. Cool. Only child. That's cool. All right, so we're gonna get started. I'm gonna review some of the slides. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna present some of these slides. Let me share my screen. There we go. Yay. And Blossom's back too. Good. Hi, Blossom. Glad you're back. Okay, So we're here, our third session. The first one is on YouTube already on the STEAM Collaborative. And then today we're going to do just our last session on multiplication. And then next week we'll do more in algebra. And I'll try to add some geometry type stuff for Blossom because I know that's what she's going into for 8th grade. But yes, today we're going to still do some more multiplication, a little more complicated. So I know some of you saw this before, but my name is Miss Jasmine. I have my own company, so I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm also a dancer and an aerospace engineer. So I'm a rocket scientist and I'm an educator. We're here for it. So y'all remember what STEAM stands for? Do you have it written in your notes? Okay. Can you all tell me what it stands for? Let's say it together if you want. Go ahead, you all can say it.
Science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics.
Very good. And then what does STEM stand for?
Science, technology, engineering, math.
Right. Yep. So that's one thing that you'll hear me say a lot, STEM or STEAM. And so if I say STEAM, then that adds the arts into it. And so that doesn't just mean dancing, but it could mean painting, it could mean singing, it could mean drawing, it could mean playing the piano. I have a keyboard over here. So there's lots of different types of arts. And then some of that helps you understand STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math better sometimes. And then does anybody remember what entrepreneur means? I think Shyla was on for that part. Shyla, you remember what entrepreneur means?
Somebody that works, or I don't know. So I think somebody that works.
Did you take notes on that part last time?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, but I think you wrote down entrepreneur. So maybe let's everybody write down entrepreneur, because I don't think everybody was here during this part last time. So make sure you write down what STEAM stands for, and then also write down the word entrepreneur, and then do it. You can write something like you own your own business, or you work for yourself, or you make your own money. So things like that. So, but an entrepreneur is a person who owns their own business. So Kenina, can you write those down too?
Wait, what did you say?
Can you write what's down on the screen? So write down what STEAM stands for and then write entrepreneur.
Okay.
Yeah, Shyla, next to entrepreneur, write down. So what did you write down for the definition of an entrepreneur?
I just wrote down the word.
Okay, so then what's the definition of it? Like, what are you gonna write down next to it as the definition?
Person that works by themselves.
That's good. Yep. And you work by yourself, but then you also work for yourself.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And Chukwuebuka, what'd you write for the definition of an entrepreneur?
Someone who owns their own business.
Good. Then Kanino, what did you write down for? Did you write down the definition of STEAM already?
No, not yet.
Okay. Blossom, what did you write for the definition of entrepreneur?
I wrote down an entrepreneur who has their own business and works for themselves.
Very good. All right. Yeah, so I want to make sure that you all have at least this in your notes. And then some of the other math stuff is important, but this is also very important to know what this means, because one day you can have your own business. And you can start your own businesses now. So when I was about you all's age, I was selling candy to my friends, and started selling like some art pieces that I made. I would sell them to my dad's friends. So there's you can start your own business, and it doesn't have to be a big thing, but it can be. You can make your own T-shirt company or anything like that too. All right,
Okay.
Karina, you got it all down?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we'll move on, and so I'm gonna just recap this page again. That it's important to have your one page of notes. So sometimes you'll hear me say, write this on your summary page of notes, and then the other notes are just like in your notebook, regular notes. But then sometimes I'll say special things to write on your summary page of notes, which is just one page by itself, and it makes it easier so that you don't have to look through all the notes that you've taken, and you can just look at this one page. So we'll see that sometimes. And then here's an example of what one can look like, where you've written down all the notes and examples and problems in your notebook, but then on that one page, you have all of your formulas on there, that one summary page. All right, so now we're back to multiplication type stuff. So last time, what did we do together? Yeah, you can answer. Well, yeah, go ahead. Shyla, go first.
We did multiplication together.
Yes, you did multiplication. And Chukwuebuka, what are you gonna say?
We filled in this multiplication table,
Yep.
but not all the way.
Yeah, not all the way. Yeah, so there's yeah, we went through a good portion of it, and then yeah, you can always fill out the rest of it on your own, or make your own table. I think that's a lot of fun. That's what I usually have students do, is like make their own multiplication table. So that'll be a really good thing that you can do on your own, and you can show me next time if you want. But yeah, so that'll be good. If you want homework, then you can make your own multiplication table, and then you can also color it in, and how we did here where we had the different patterns. And we talked about how that top row, Shyla mentioned the top row and the first column, they're both red. And so yeah, when you do 4 times 6, that's the same thing as if you did 6 times 4. So that was something that was noticed on here. And then also the perfect square. So can y'all write that down too? Perfect squares. You may need that later in middle school, but it's called a perfect square. So that's a number on those diagonals where you have 1 times 1, or 2 times 2, 3 times 3, 4 times 4. So those are all, so those numbers that are the products of those of 4 times 4, those are the perfect squares. So 4 times 4 is 16. 5 times 5 is 25. So, or what you'll start to see later in middle school is you'll see like 1 squared, or 2 squared, or 3 squared. So I'll show you what that looks like too. But that's all it's saying is 2 squared is 2 times 2. 4 squared is 4 times 4, which is 16. All right, moving on. All right, so some more practice problems. I'm gonna give you all 5 minutes on this one. And yeah, you can let me know when you're done. So we will start now. And there's no rush. There should be plenty of time. So I'll read the first one. You drink 2 bottles of water and your friend drinks 2 bottles of water. How many bottles did you and your friend drink in total? I'll give you some more time. I was just reading it off. And then the second one, Miss Jasmine has 4 students, which I do, yay. And each student gets 5 pencils. How many pencils did Miss Jasmine start with? And then number 3, to get onto Zoom for class, you have to go through steps. So turning on your computer, signing in, something like that. And it takes you 2 minutes to do each of the 5 steps that it takes for you to sign on. How many minutes before class do you need to begin the steps to get onto Zoom? We got 3 minutes left. All right. I think everybody looks good. Everybody done? Yes, looks good. Okay. So the first person I saw raise their hand was Kanina. So Kanina, can you read number 1 and then tell us your answer?
Okay. You drink 2 bottles of water and your friend drinks 2 bottles of water. How many bottles did you and your friend drink in total?
Mhm.
So my answer is 4 bottles
Mhm. So how did you get 4 bottles?
because I know 2 plus 2 equals 4, and 2 bottles plus another 2 bottles equals 4.
Yep, that's good. Very good. Very good. All right. And then Shuka Buka, can you do the next one? Number 2, can you read it off? Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry, I forgot. Number 2. Miss Jasmine has 4 students and each student gets 5 pencils. How many pencils did Miss Jasmine start with? I multiplied to find the answer. I did 4 times 5
Mhm.
because you have 4 students and each one had 5 pencils. So I multiplied 4 times 5 and I got 20 pencils.
Very good. And then Shyla, can you do number 3 for us, please?
To get onto Zoom for class, you have to go through steps. Turn on the computer, sign in, etc. It takes you 2 minutes to do each of the 5 steps. How many minutes before class starts? How many minutes before class starts do you need to begin the steps to get onto Zoom? I wasn't sure if it was adding or multiplying, but I thought it was multiplying, so I got 10.
Okay, and how'd you get 10? What did you multiply?
I did 5 times 2.
Yep, that's perfect. Yeah, and so, yeah, and I think that's a good point. Thank you for saying you weren't sure if you were adding or multiplying because, yeah, you sometimes you're not exactly sure what you need to do, but then if it were adding, like you could say 2 minutes plus 2 minutes plus 2 minutes plus 2 minutes plus 2 minutes, which is fine because then that would give you 10 minutes total. Or you can just do it quickly and do 2 times 5. And that's where multiplication comes in. But that's why multiplication is really very similar to adding, because yeah, you can add 2 minutes 5 different times, or you can do 2 times 5. Very good. So both of those work. Blossom. So how did you do? Yeah, I guess I just want a different understanding of how you did number 3.
Oh, I did number 3 because I would always first like look at the numbers in the problem and see like where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw the 2 and 5, and then when I read it, it was like 2 minutes for 5 steps. Because I just looked at the number sentence, so it said 2 minutes for 5 steps. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, 2 times 5. I mean, 2 minutes for 5 steps, 2 times 5 equals 10. Now how much steps do you get on 10?
Yeah, that's good. Thank you for that. Yeah, that's a good way too to look at some of these math problems where they put the numbers in there, and so instead of getting distracted by these are a lot of words on the screen, and a lot of people don't like word problems when it comes to math class. But yeah, if you can reduce it down to just the numbers in the problem, so you have your 2 and you have your 5, and then you kind of need to just know what to do with that 2 and the 5. And so then that's what the rest of the problem is telling you. And then that's how you know you multiply them together. So I really like that explanation. Yeah, I'm glad you shared that. All right, so I have, oh, the answers. There you go. And so 2 times 2, 4 bottles. And so that's the thing about story problems is that they usually talk about like a real item, like bottles in this one. And so later on, as you go through math, it can become really important to talk about the units or the item that you're talking about. So instead of just saying 4 as your answer, your teacher, probably like in high school and sometimes later, will start to say 4 what? And then that's when you have to say 4 bottles and not just 4. And so just, it's a good time to get in the habit of doing that when you have story problems, that it's not just 4 times 5 for number 2. It's, 4 times 5 equals 20. It's 20 pencils, or even if you wrote out the whole thing, 4 students times 5 pencils equals 20 pencils. And so it's not just 20. And then same thing here, 2 times 5 is 10, but then it's 10 minutes. Because yeah, sometimes they're like, well, what are we even talking about? So it's just a good habit to start writing down what you're talking about when you have story problems. All right, so I found these because I love puzzles and story problems and looking at things like this. And has anybody played Sudoku before? No?
Yeah, I had.
Oh, Blossom has? Yeah, so I love it.
I know the rules, but I haven't played it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, maybe one of these times we can do that together. That'll be fun. So this is similar, but a little different. And so the thing about this one is like, it's a multiplication table, and then you see some numbers are missing in the first column, which the column goes up and down or vertically. So if you don't remember which one's a row and a column, maybe you should write that in your notes, that a column goes up and down, which is vertical. So you can write that down in your notes. And column is spelled COLUMN. And I will write that on here for you all. Add it on here. Column. And then it goes, I was good to say, it goes up and down, or however you want to write it, so then you will know what that means, which is also called vertically. So a little bit bigger. And then a row goes left to right, left to right. And then that's also called horizontally. So make it bigger. I think someone else is joining us. So there you go. So yeah, definitely make sure you write those in your notes. And then sometimes you may want to write that on your summary page of notes, so that if I ask you at another point, you know, which one's the column and which one's the row, then you'll know which one. Very good. Okay, so yeah, some of the items are missing in the column. 2 items are missing in the first column, and then 1 item is missing in that first row at the top. And so the thing about this puzzle is that you use the other numbers to help you find out which ones are missing. So we're gonna fill this whole thing in together. So can all of you all write this down on your sheet of paper? Write one down just like this one. You should have 5 rows and 5 columns. Blossom, you already wrote it down? Okay. Very good. Panina, you have a question?
Well, I wrote it down. It's just that I feel like I know the answer to the first column.
Okay. So what's the first number that's missing in that first column? So the number, what number should go right underneath that X?
Oh no, I mean like the one next to the number 8.
Oh, okay. So which one goes perfect? So that's actually the row. So that row goes left to right. So that's why it helps to know which one's the column and the row, so that we all are looking at the exact same thing together. So you're talking about the first row, and you're talking about the 5th column in the first row. So what goes there?
I think the number 7.
Okay, and why do you think number 7?
Because there's a 2 here,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's a 2 in the column, and then it goes to the number 14.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's kind of like 2 times 7.
Yep. Yep, perfect. I like that explanation. Very good. So let's put that in here. So I have 2 of them, but we'll just do 1 for now. Let me move this. Do another one. In case we have time for the other one, we can do that one too. Okay. What do I want to do? All right, that doesn't want to work. Okay, so we'll just do this one first. So yes, number 7 should go there. Oh, I'm not sharing that one with you all, am I? You can't see my screen, huh? Let me share this one. There you go. Everybody can see this, okay? Let's see. So we had a number 7 that goes in the first row, the 5th column. Okay, and so just so some of you all know, people like Blossom, or anybody that gets into coding, this position you do it with coordinates, which is kind of looks like this with the comma in the middle. And so usually for coding, they'll say which row is something in. And so this is the first row in the 5th column. So the position of that 7 is 1, 5. If it looks better. Position of that 7 is in 1, 5. First row, 5th column. So that may help other people when you're trying to describe which position you're talking about. Then that's how you would say it. You would start with the row and then you talk about the column. All right. So Shyla, what's another number that we can fill in?
I'm not really sure how to play the game. Like, I don't understand it.
Okay, so it's it's like a multiplication table, like that, the big one that we filled out together, except there's numbers. It's just different numbers. So it's not always 0 through 15 or 0 through 12. This one, they picked numbers. And so how we did that 14 is at the bottom down here. And so the 2 was here. And so you used to have to say which number times 2 gives us the 14. And that's how Kanina knew it was 7. So you had the 7. Uh-oh, sorry. 7 times 2 gives us the 14. So you look in the top row and then multiply by that number in the column, and then that's how we got the 14. So they gave us the 14, so you kind of just would do it a similar way where you do 14 divided by 2 gives us that 7. Does that make more sense?
So like, do I do like 40 or 54 times 0 or something?
Something like that. And so, but 54 is the answer. And so you would have, so we're talking about that one, 9 times something gives you that 54. So 9 times something that we don't have yet gives us 54. 9 times, I'm gonna put a question mark. So what the 9 times, what number gives you 54, Shyla?
I don't know about that one, but I know about what, like the 3 and the 18.
Okay, so what about the 3 and the 18?
So it's a 6.
Yep, and so that one, they kind of already gave us here, because yep, that's exactly right. The 3 times the 6 gave us 18. Yep, so that was good. That was good to spot out. So try this one. So try to do the 8 times what number gives you 0? What number? Say that again.
0.
Very good. Yep. So you had 8 times 0, and then that's what gave you the 0 here. Very good. So Blossom, help us out with that. 9 times what gives us 54?
6.
Good. So in what row and what column does the 6 go in?
Hold on, wait. I'm not good with type of column stuff.
This is good. So start with the row. The rows go which direction?
This one.
Okay, and if I couldn't see you, explain what direction that is.
Oh, it's going right.
Yeah, so rows go left to right. Yeah. So which row would it be in?
It'd be in row 1, yeah.
Well, so row 1 is kind of like that header row, where it starts with the X.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the row after that one? The one underneath row 1 is what row number?
Oh, you're talking about like this way. Oh, okay. No, never mind. Yeah, it's row 2.
Okay, good. So I'm gonna write the coordinates for that. Good. Okay. So 2, and then what column should that 6 go in?
1.
Very good. 2, 1. And that's where our 6 is going. And that's because 9 times 6 equals 54. Good. All right. So yes, I'm glad you're here because you can explain that. So Blossom, explain to me what, in your own words, what a row is.
I was thinking like a row, like when you describe row, I didn't think you meant like rows and stuff. I thought you meant like, on a graph, there's just that one row and then that one, here. So I was trying to like go like this when it was supposed to be like this and like that.
Mm-hmm. So I think what you're talking about, thank you for sharing that. You all give me so many good ideas. Okay, so I think what you're talking about is more like this, like a axis.
Yes, like an axis. Yeah.
Yeah, and then this is your x axis, and this is your y axis. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. I was like, oh, she mean like that's why it's like row one. I was like, okay, the first one with the X and the 6 and the 0, and that's row one. And I thought it was like 2-1 or something, but like the other way, 1-2.
Mm-hmm. And so the one that you just named out, the x 6032, that's column one.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
was thinking that was row one.
Yep, yep. And so that's where it gets tricky, yeah, because you have your X and Y axis, but that's a little, yeah, so you just have to kind of understand it where when you're talking about rows and columns, yep, it's a little different. You talk about, because when you do a coordinate for X, Y, like if this was, let me write real numbers, 1, 2, and then you had, 1, 2, 3, and my dot is here. Then the coordinates of that are your X position, which means going this way. And that's a really good point. Yeah, you would go that way first, which would be 2, and then you go up, which is 3. But when you talk about rows and columns, you go down first, yeah, and then you go columns. You go rows, then columns. So yeah, very good observation. Yep, that's a little different. Yeah. All right. So who we got next? Chukwabuka. Which number do you want to fill in? Oh, you're on mute again.
6 times 6.
6 times 6. Okay. So what's 6 times 6?
36.
36. And then what position does that go in? Which row and which column?
Row 2, column 3.
Very good. Yes. Row 2, column 3. And so 36. So you got your 6 times your 6. And then that 36. Good. So I think later on in some coding, at some point they will count the header row in that first column. They won't count those as your first ones. And so yeah, sometimes they'll start just on the inside when you multiply them, but most times you'll still keep that header row as like your first row, and then that one on the left is your first column. So yeah, let me get this neater. All right. And then, oh, I think he got up. Another person joined us. All right, so Kanena, back to you. So can you do, what should go in our third row and our second column? What
What did you
numbers
say?
for the third row, second column?
The third row and second column.
Is what times what?
It's
What's the first number in the third row? With that one.
in the third row.
Mm-hmm.
0.
Very good. So you have zeros in the first row there. I mean the third row, first column, and then what's the number in the second, first row, second column. First row.
First row, second column.
Mhm.
The first number.
In the first row, second column. Yep.
Okay. Is it 6?
So the first row is this top one. And then this is our first column, and then this will be our second column. It's the 9. First row, second column. And so then we're trying to figure out this number. So what's 9 times 0?
9 times 0 is 0.
Yep, perfect. So put our 0 there. Good. All right, Shyla, what number goes in our third row, third column?
6.
Okay, so what's the first number in our third row?
3.
The third row. So this is row 1, row 2, here, row 2, and then row 3. So what's the first number in the third row?
0.
Good. Good. And then what's the first number in our third column? So we have first column, second column, third column. What's the first number in our third column?
0. There's nothing in the column.
So the columns go up and down. So this is our third column. So what number is the first number in the third column then?
6.
Yeah, yeah. So it's all the way at the top there. Kind of messed this up. Yeah, so 6. So then 6 times 0 gives us what?
0.
Very good. All right, so then I'll fill out this other one. So in the third row, in the fifth column is 0 times 7, which we know is 0. All right, who else we got? Did our other friend join us again? Okay, no. All right, so let's do Chukwuebuka. What's the hardest one you want to do for us?
8 times 3 then.
Times 3?
Yes.
Okay. What's 8 times 3?
24.
24. And then which row and which column does that 24?
Fourth row, fourth column.
Fourth row, column. Very good. 24. All right. And then Blossom. Which one do you want to do? Blossom, which one do you want to do next?
Like that, like box.
Say it again.
Like in the one box or the other one.
Hold on, I can't hear you that well. One more time.
In that one box or
Uh-huh.
like the other box?
Oh, in the same one that we're in.
Oh, okay.
I'm just trying to fill it in.
I'll do second row, fourth column, which is 8 times 6, which is 48. 40? I
Yep.
don't know.
Yep. 48 or what was the other one? Did you say?
48 or 46. I
Oh,
can't
okay. Yeah, it's 48.
8, okay.
Yeah. And so again, if you can't remember, because I know those get really tricky sometimes, then if you remember 8 times 5
Is 40.
is 40, and then you would just add 8 more. And you
Yeah,
get
I was
8
thinking
times 6.
add 6 more, not 8 more. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So yeah, that's the point where sometimes it's just hard to remember some of those as the numbers get a little higher. And so That's why it's always okay to just double check. You know, you're like, I think it's either 48 or 46. And then it's like, okay, we get 8 times 5, 40, and then add 8 more. Got it. You know, so that can help too. But yes, because sometimes you guess wrong, and then it's always good to just double check. I know for me, I always have to double check on 9 times 4 and 8 times 4. Because one is, okay, who knows? I'm like, yeah, one is 32 and one is 36. And I always have to like, okay, wait, before I write this down, which one is which? And so then, yeah, so that I do that all the time with 9 times 4 and 8 times 4, 32 and 36. I always take extra time to make sure I'm writing down the right one. All right, so let's finish this up. Kanina, can you do, which one do you want to do? You're muted. Yep.
I think 3 times 7.
3 times 7 is what?
3 times 7 is 21.
Yep. And then which row and which column does that go in?
It goes to row 4 and column 4.
So row 4 is this one, the one that starts with 3. And then that 7 is in which column?
Is in column 4.
So count them out. We got the first one that starts with the X is column 1. The one that has the 9 is column 2.
So it's column 5.
Very good. Yep. Good catch. So 21. All right. So then can you give us, Kanina, since we're almost there, 9 times 3?
9 times 3. 27.
Very good. And so that'll go in our 4th row, 2nd column, 27. Good. All right. What else we got? Shyla, can you just do the bottom row? So that whole last row, row 5.
2 times 9 is 18.
Very good. And then what's the next column?
12.
Good. And the next one?
16.
Very good. And then Chukwuebuka, last missing number.
Gavika, you're on mute. You're on mute.
I know, I just moved. 7, keep forgetting. 7 times 6 is 46.
Okay, so let's,
And that would be in the second row, 5th column.
okay, 7 times 6. Oops. You said it's 46. Let's double check that. So what's 7 times 5?
7 times 5 is 35.
All right, and then if we, oops, 35. If we add 7 more to 35, how many do we get?
Wait, 30? Did you say 30?
Say it again.
I heard 30.
Oh, okay, so what do you get? So you got 7 times 5 is 35, so add 7 more to 35.
42.
Yeah. So that should be 42. Hey, the first time you said 46. Yeah, just take a little extra time sometimes to double check.
No, I said 42 first.
Okay. That's good. All right, so we have finished that one. So for this next one, that should be pretty easy. I think everybody gets it now. So let's start with Who do we want? Who do we want? Let's do Blossom. Can you fill out the missing numbers in the first row?
Of that second box.
Yep.
Okay. First row would be row. Okay, that way. So it'd be 4 and 10.
4, because we got 4 times 9 is 36, and then 10 because 10 times 7 is 70. All right. And then let's do Shyla. Can you fill out the number that's missing in the first column?
So like 7 times 4.
So the first column, can you read down the numbers that are in our first column? What's in our first column?
The first one is 28.
So just read the numbers down for me. So it starts with the X at the top, and then what number is under that one in the first column?
9.
9, and then what number?
7.
7, and then we're missing 1, and then there's the 8. So how do you find out which number is missing there?
You multiply them.
So what do you multiply? So there's a blank times what? What information do we know?
Is it 3 times something to make the number?
So for this one, for this blank one, it's in the 4th row. And so the only information that we have is this number. So it'll be, and that number is in our 3rd column. So it'll be this number times our blank number equals that number in the 4th row, 3rd column. So we'll have our row number, which is our question mark, we don't know, times 7 equals 42. So you see that?
Yeah. Is it 7 times 8?
So double check. So you don't have to guess. What number times 7 is 42? So if it's really hard, then you can, I always like to start at the 5s or the 10s. So if we start at 7 times 5, because we don't know, we're trying to figure out what number's missing. So 7 times 5 is what?
35.
Good. 35. So then if we did 7 times 6, that means we'd add 7 more to 35. And what do you get?
42.
42. And then that's what we're trying to figure out. What number times 7 is 42? So what number times 7 is 42?
7.
So you have the number times 7. What number times 7 is 42? We just did 5 times 7 is 35. We did 6 times 7 is 42. So what number times 7 is 42?
6.
Yes, very good. 6 times 7. So then this should be a 6. And then that means in our 4th row, 1st column, that should be a 6 there. All right. So let's fill in the rest. Kanina, these are some harder numbers. Let's do, which one should we do? Which ones do you want to do? You want to do the, let's do this. Let's do second column, the column that starts with the 4 and go down. So we did 4 times 9 is 36. 4 times 7. Say it again.
6 times 4.
Okay, what's 6 times 4?
Well, that is 24.
Good, 24. And then what's the one above that in the third row, second column?
Wait, 7 times 4?
Yes, which is what?
Oh, that's 24, 28.
Okay, good. All right. Chukrabuka, let's finish the third column.
Okay. 9 times 7 is 63.
Mm-hmm.
7 times 7 is 49.
Uh-huh.
And 8 times 7 is 56.
All right, Blossom, it's on you. The fourth column.
Like the whole fourth column?
Yep.
Okay. So for row 2, it would be 27.
Mm-hmm.
And for row 3, it'd be 21. For row 4, it'd be 18. And row 5, it'd be 24.
Very good. Now, I like how you told me the position, so I knew exactly where to write it. All right, Shyla, take us home. Last column. And Shyla, you're on mute.
90.
Good. Oops. Okay, I doesn't want to write. 9. Okay. 90. And then we had 10 times 7 is 70. That's already there. So then what comes after that?
60.
60. And then
80.
80. So what position did I just write that 80 in? Which row and which column?
The 5th row
Mm-hmm.
and the 5th column.
Very good. And I like how you looked at your notes too. So then you can know which row, which row means row. So very good. Yeah, y'all knocked it out today. You did a really, really good job. How many of you all give yourselves and each other a round of applause? Yeah, we did it together. Good job. All right, so that is that. Let me share this with you all. I think we are good. I'm just gonna wrap up. So you did awesome. Yep, filled out both of these. And bonus question. We have 5 people learning today. I'm one of the 5. And then each of you have 20 people in your class, because I think a lot of you all go to different schools. So each of you have 20 people in your class. How many of your classmates can you share what you have learned today? So if each 5 of us have 20 people in our class, then how many people can we share what we learned today with? Buka, raise your hand.
100 people.
100 people, very good. So yes, because each of us, there's 5 of us, and so there's 20 plus 20 plus 20 plus 20. And so yes, 100 people that we can share what we learned today and really cool puzzles like you all did today. So super proud of you all. if you have any questions, of course, my email's there. Jasmine@steamcollab.com. But you all did really good. And so next week we're gonna talk about algebra. Has anybody heard of algebra before? You've heard of it? You know what it is? Kind of a little bit, yeah. It's really about solving problems if you have a variable. So we'll talk about that next week, where we talk about x and solving for x. So yeah, we'll do that next week. So I will see you all Monday. Have a great weekend. Good job.
Next Monday.
Bye.
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 Bye.